Greetings and salutations, Internet. This is Wolfphototech, and here we are with another fun review this time because I've actually used these extensively, and I've been playing long enough, and I have D&D Beyond, and these are the fun little spell cards from Gale Force 9 for Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition. This contains 61 durable laminated cards, 16 Battlemaster maneuvers, 3 Totem Barbarian abilities, 19 Monk techniques, all spell-like racial abilities for Aasimar, Drow, Furbolg, Forest Gnome, Genasi, High Elf, Tiefling or Tiefling, depending on your pronunciation, and Triton races. Now, this is actually a fairly nice box. And it's a fairly nice collection of cards. And they are actually very nice condition. If you notice, I always like to try to save. You're going to see this a lot in a lot of the decks, whenever possible. I will save these cards. Save the little plastic sleeve. And there you go. Beast Sense for the Totem Barbarian. It's actually fairly well worked out. The reason why I'm most definitely doing this review of the card is because this is also a really good jumping off point for future reviews for spell aid cards. This is simply referred to as the D&D Spellbook Cards Martial Powers and Races book deck, which I do not care for the term usage. Do not care for the combination of words that make up that name. But as I said before, there is the 3 barbarian cards, which I'm not going to show you all the cards. I'm just going to show you a bunch quick. You got the Battlemaster cards, and you have a standard format. You got some that are based on the spell card setup, the normal spell card setup. And you have others that are more ability structure, like that. And these cards are actually, as far as a beginner in Dungeons & Dragons, are a handy aid when you're a completely new player. It's actually really handy to just have these cards out and use them. And have dice, extra dice, your Battlemaster maneuver dice, or whatever, with the cards. And in the case of the spellbook, the actual spell cards that have levels, having them arranged across the table is actually a pretty neat thing. However, it's important. Please note that these cards are actually pretty durable, so they're going to last you a while. I'm still in the Battlemaster maneuver because there's 16 of them. And then here's Astral Projection, which is a monk technique. Monks are loaded with all kinds of fun goodness. You just have to get far enough into them to actually get to use it all. And you have to remember, monk key points 100% regenerate whenever you take a short rest and a long rest. It's roughly in canon in a 30-minute meditation period during those rests that you recover your key points. Which in reality means that monks regenerate ki as easily as warlocks gain spell slots back. But overall, these, see, there's the number on the back. If you see the spell cards, they'll have numbers on the back side denoting their level. And whenever you go over here, there's the general text in the center. And then there's the upcast effect instructions. Snap through those. Got your level 5s. And then you have your racial cards. And on the back of these cards, they have basically a symbol that is, and the name of the race that's indicative indicative. That is tied to each one, and each one is, you know, you got yourself a drow. There's actually a few drow. You got high elf. You got tiefling, which is actually kind of neat. That's a really neat symbol. You got forest gnome. That's cute. And as I said, you have the abilities, the spell-like abilities is on the front. Now, there's a really important notation with these cards that they'll have a text section, and then they'll have, for more information, go to the book. And that is the magic point. That's the Air Genasi card symbol. That is the magic point where these cards start dipping. There's actually a few different ones. First and foremost, I'm actually going to get into the actual quality review portion of this now. These cards are handy for first-time players. If you seriously have issues remembering your spells and organizing some stuff, the cards are most definitely handy for that. However, and here's the negative side, a lot of these cards have that stupid little tag at the bottom, like here, that says more information on page blah, 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 of what book. I personally don't care for that. It's kind of minimal amount in this deck right here, but when you get into the actual spell card decks, it becomes more common. This is also the reason why I'm starting with Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, because people are most familiar with Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition. Many people have probably owned these cards already, and they may even come across this review. And if so, you can leave your comment below telling me what you think of the cards. But continuing on to my negatives of this deck. First and foremost, as I said, there is that really dumb detail of them, including for more information, see ba ba ba. As I said, the front side has all the text, and then you have a big ass symbol in the back side and a decorative back panel. If you have run over text that goes all the way to the bottom, it would be perfectly fine to have the text go onto the back side like Pathfinder Piazzo does with the Pathfinder cards. But overall, this deck is decent. Also, the other problem is some of these abilities have been errataed. So if you're okay with using them like OG style, sure, go for it. But overall, as I found with this deck and these decks, is that the usefulness of these decks is at its peak earlier on in Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition and earlier on when you're a new player. And from the beginning of Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition and the beginning of you as a player, it's high in value, and then as you continue on, it falls in value. Some of these decks have a longer drop. They don't ever hit the ground, and some of them are like, whoo, you know. But this deck right here, if you're a new player and happen to have these races and you have money to throw at these decks, okay, I say go for it, go buy it. It will help you out a bit. However, I am going to give this, like, if you're a new player, it's probably in the low 3-star territory. It's like 3 stars. If you are a moderately experienced player, it's 2.7 stars, 2.5 stars. If you have D&D Beyond, with the character sheets, it's literally like 1.75 stars or 2 stars. Uh, if you're a physical media person, it is much like me. It is a really high value. But if you start investing in a digital version of this, these fall in value. However, these are physical. If you lose internet or you're playing someplace that doesn't have internet, or the world goes insane and infrastructure goes down, these will still be very useful if you're a new player. If you're an experienced player, books are still going to be the best ultimate option. However, these are, as a quick reference source, still pretty darn good. I'm going to just move my new RuneQuest stuff in a different angle. So, if you're new, it's in that mid 3s. It's falling. It's falling in value. This is not a bad deck. This is actually not the worst deck, and this deck is typically one of the cheaper ones. So they kind of vary because some of them are going to be higher scored and some of them are going to be lower scored due to a lot of erratas and or erratas and a lot of updates to spellcasting lists and stuff like that. So you're going to run into issues with that. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you dislike it, leave a dislike and tell me why in the comments below. If you still like it and want to tell me in the comments below, go for it. Thank you very much for watching this video. Have a delightful day and a nice night and a wonderful week. And see you next time.